I and my family moved to Denver 2 years ago, July 2020, to replant a church plant. What time is it during COVID? It's the perfect time to replant a church plant. And our first outdoor service, we scheduled it to meet in the courtyard of an Episcopal church. They were so kind. They're like, well, we're not using it. If you can figure out some way to do some kind of worship, we would love to have you gather there. So doing all the things, getting all the stuff ready. I've never done an outdoor service before in my life. And I think it's the last week of August. And at 8 a.m., our service is supposed to start at 10. At 8 a.m., I get the phone call. Get the phone call from Jason, my worship leader, saying, Kathy, the AV equipment is gone. And I'm like, you Mile High Vineyard people, you are so mean. Is this some kind of hazing thing, like the new pastor, all the AV equipment, kind of, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I was so excited about you being here, and we're gonna start again, we're gonna replant this church, we're gonna have our first outdoor service. I took the moving truck to where all of East Denver Vineyard stuff has been stored, and I put all of our stuff that has been in storage, since the pandemic started, all of the AV equipment, far more than we needed for our little courtyard service, all of the kids ministry, all of the iPads, all of the toys, just the community, everything, put it into the truck, and I parked it in front of my house. The truck is gone. And so my first outdoor service, I preached on a karaoke machine. This is real. You cannot make this stuff up. The lights, we didn't know how to turn it off, so it's like flashing, okay? In my first sermon, our first outdoor service. And because we're Vineyard, I do the thing. At the end, I ask for us to pray for a miracle, for the truck to be returned, but we know how this works. We know how this works. We're never going to see that truck again. We're never going to see the $20,000 worth of stuff that was in that truck. It's fine, but you pray, because that's what you do. 4 days later, my pastoral staff person, Amy Druck, gives me a call, I think at around 8 in the morning. She said, Kathy, are you ready for this? Kathy, we found the truck. We found the truck. We just got a call from a police department about 2 hours away, and all the stuff is still in the truck. All the stuff is still in the truck. And I heard the Lord speaking as clear as I've ever heard the Lord speaking. I knew this was a Kairos moment. It was not just about the truck. The Lord was speaking to me. And do you know what the Lord said to me? The Lord said, Kathy, I am contending for your church. I am contending for your church. I am contending for my church. I am contending with Satan, and Satan cannot have this church plant. Satan cannot have East Denver Vineyard. Our little church has been through a lot. God was saying to me, I am contending with Satan. He cannot have your people. God was speaking to me as I was taking over this church that was really hurting, really broken, saying to me, this is what I've said to Satan. All that you have tried to rob, You've tried to rob the joy. You've tried to rob the hope. You've tried to rob the healing. You've tried to rob the vision of this church plant. I'm going to give it all back to them. I'm going to give it all back to them. The moving truck, everything was in the truck. Now, here's the thing. There was some extra stuff in the truck. This broken man who had stolen the truck, he actually, you can talk to me after. I can tell you the extended version, but he actually hadn't only stolen our truck. He had stolen 3 other vehicles and strung them all together. So he was kind of easy to catch, actually. But he added some stuff into our truck. Literally, he added feces. He added some paraphernalia. And I heard the Lord speaking to me through that. I heard the Lord speaking to me through that for our church. I am contending for your church, Kathy. Doesn't mean you don't have some poop to clean up. Doesn't mean that you don't have some messes to clean up. But I am contending for your church. So I offer that blessing to you. I offer that blessing this morning. God is saying, doesn't mean that Vineyard Canada doesn't have some poop to clean up. Doesn't mean that Vineyard Canada doesn't have some messes to clean up. But I have taken your churches. I have taken Vineyard Canada captive in my mercy. Captive in my mercy. She is a part of my witness. She is a part of my bride. It's been 12 years. It's been 12 long years. But I've gotten used to the bleeding. Gotten used to the bleeding, but it's the heavy quiet that I'm still not used to. That isolating burden of quiet that it still gets to me, especially when I'm by myself at night. I've spent all my savings. I spent all my savings and then some to get to the best doctors, to get to the best healing meetings. I flew to Toronto. I went to Kansas City. I went down all the way to Florida, of all places. So many of them promised a cure for this bleeding. I'd do anything to get rid of this disgusting, stinking shame. I'm 43. Shouldn't I have gotten married by now? Shouldn't I have raised kids by now so that people could see me? I get it, though. I get it. There's no purpose to my life. I get why my friends have stopped calling. I get it. I understand my family, my parents, I understand why they don't want to be near me. It's just too painful. I get it. I forgive them. I forgive them for not wanting to draw me near. I haven't been cured. I haven't been healed. I just keep on bleeding. It's too painful for my friends and family to keep on hoping. It's like being a ghost in your own home. I'm just so tired of being tired. You know, I heard there is a new rabbi in town. Yeah, someone told me, or actually no one told me, I overheard some other people talking about it. I heard there's this new rabbi called I think his name is Jesus. He's supposed to be able to heal people. I've been thinking about going to see him. You know what? I am going. I'm going to go. I'm going to try it again. I can walk there. I don't have to spend any more money. I mean, what else do I have to lose, right? What are they going to do? Throw me out of the temple? I've already been isolated. I've already been excommunicated. What's the big deal? Okay, how do I prepare? Maybe if I just wear enough layers, it'll hide some of the smell. Oh my gosh. This crowd is enormous. Okay, it's going to be a lot easier to hide than I thought. Okay, this is good. And oh my, is that Jairus? Is that Jairus, the temple leader? He's here too? He wants to hear something? He wants to talk to this Jesus too? Oh my gosh, he's bowing down. That must be Jesus. He's bowing down to someone. It sounds like he's telling, I guess, Jesus? He's got a 12-year-old daughter. He's got a 12-year-old daughter who's sick? His daughter's really sick? I remember when my dad used to worry about me. I remember when my dad still had the energy to fight for me. Okay, I'm gonna squeeze through this crowd. I'm just gonna keep my head low. Let me just kind of weave through here. Hope nobody notices me. If I can just stretch my fingers. If I can just bend down low enough, but just stretch my fingers out, maybe I can touch the hem of his garment. Maybe I can just try to touch him. If he is who they say he is, all I have to do is touch the hem of his garment. One touch is enough. And so the woman, scrambling behind Jesus, stretches out her fingers, touches his garment, and then healing comes. Healing comes in an instant. The bleeding stops. Her physical reminder of daily death and decay and isolation is healed. But to her horror, Jesus notices that something has happened. He forces the crowd to a halt and demands an account for the power that has gone out of him. Who touched me? Shaking, the woman forces herself to stand up to be seen in the crowd, and she falls at Jesus' feet. I am so sorry. I broke all the rules. I know I did. But you know what? I've been sick for 12 years, and I've been healed. Silence. The crowd watches. What will this Jesus do? Jesus calls her, brings her back up to her feet. places his hand on her head, and he says, "Daughter, take courage. Your faith has liberated you. Not your finger, not magic, but your faith in God, my Father, your faith in me. Daughter." In the Gospel of Luke, it's the first time that Jesus uses that name for someone. Daughter. Daughter, you're no longer a stranger. You're no longer a ghost because you have stumbled into my house. From now on, you walk in peace. You have been made whole. Welcome home, daughter. Shocked, the woman weeps. The crowd begins to murmur, "Who is this man?" And we have in the crowd someone, one of Jairus' friends shout, wait. Why are we centering the old woman? There's a 12-year-old girl who needs help. This old woman, come on, there's a young person who needs help. What about that little girl? Jesus has spent way too much time on the bleeding old lady. Okay? So the murmuring begins. The anxiety begins to rise up. What about the little girl? The next generation, it's dead. Is there enough power left over for the dead girl? She's so young. She could have had her whole life in front of her. Who counts in God's household anyways? And then Jesus locks eyes with Jairus. Take courage, Jairus. Take courage, Jairus. Don't be afraid. Did you see how the woman responded? Have faith, and your daughter will be saved too. Jairus, will you believe that your home is a place for life and not death? Do you believe that I have enough power to make a way where it seems that there is no way? Do you believe that there is enough power for many generations? They finally arrive at Jairus' house. His daughter lies perfectly still, not breathing. Silence. Jesus says, "Child, get up. It's time to wake up. There is life in you. There is life in you." Her eyes flutter with a start. Her lungs fill with air. Jairus, Jesus says, why don't you welcome your daughter back home? Give her something to eat. She's hungry. She needs you. Do we have ears to hear? Larry, do we have ears to hear? Karen, do we have ears to hear? Anita, do we have ears to hear? David, do we have ears to hear? Jesus is calling us into his household, his economy, his mercy table. We blunder into his kingdom. We take courage to yield to his power, to yield to his timing, to yield to who he notices. And he doesn't care if you sneak up from behind. We know this, but we don't know this. He doesn't care if you throw yourself at his feet. He doesn't care if you're dead. He doesn't care if you're dead. If someone else is there to bring you to him. There are no ghosts. There are no ghosts in Jesus' house. There are no ghosts. There are daughters and sons in God's house. Jesus is saying, Vineyard, would you help me to welcome the ghosts and turn them into sons and daughters into my house? Would you trust your Father? Your Father has never stopped caring. Your Father has never stopped caring. When we bear the weight of illness, when we bear the weight of alienation in our communities, when we bear that weight in our bodies, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 30 years, 35 years, we know where it hurts. So who better to help to heal the wounds? Who better to resist the injustice and name the world the way that God sees it? Who better to welcome the ghosts? Who better to name sons and daughters and sit them at the mercy table? I'm going to cut the other 2/3 of what I was going to say, and I'm just going to skip to the end, and I'm going to invite us to stand again. And this past Easter, my second ever Easter sermon, isn't that so fun? Pastor Kathy. Second Easter sermon, so cool. I invited our church to try something new. There's a Eastern Orthodox Easter blessing. And it goes like this. Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed. I can see him in your face. We have to be face to face. You have to be face to face. You're building a family. You're building a household. You have to be face to face. So let's say it together. And I invite you to say it to someone's face. So, we'll say it together, and then we'll say it a second time to someone's face. So you say it to me. Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed. I can see him in your face.